Good morning. Such a weird angle. Hold on. Good morning. It's currently Tuesday, May 20th. It's raining outside. It's about 6:45 in the morning. I am headed to the airport to fly out to San Francisco. It's gonna be a long day, but let's go. Hello my friends and welcome to another vlog. So if you're one of my regular viewers who follows my channel for writing and publishing content, this video probably isn't going to be for you so much, and that is totally okay. I will see you next time. There is some writing in this vlog, but it is mostly just a little video diary of my recent-ish trip to the Bay Area to visit friends, eat good food, explore, and yeah, I guess work a little bit on my debut dark academia adult fantasy novel titled MOTHSBLOOD, which comes out fall of 2026. Survived the flight. Now I'm just waiting to get picked up, but oh goodness, I'll talk about it later. That was just like an agitating experience. My head hurts, but I'm fine. I lived. Oh my god, I need that haircut. So as you can see here, I somehow managed to make it successfully to San Francisco. I met up with my parents and my brother. I was mostly in the area for my brother's graduation. Yes, he is 4 years younger, but we did get our master's degrees in the same year. Anyway, immediately after getting off the plane, I was told that we were heading over to the Golden Gate Park area, so we drove over, explored the park the tiniest bit before deciding we were all incredibly hungry, and then got lunch at Kevin and Chris's Noodle House, which has Vietnamese food. I got a bowl of pho, obviously, as well as some egg rolls. Absolutely delicious, 10 out of 10. And then my brother and I also stopped by the Pineapple King Bakery, which is very viral, and got a box of pineapple buns as well. And then it was off to Golden Gate Park to walk around. I haven't really explored this park all too much before, although I've been to the Bay a number of times. It's really vast, like we didn't even scratch the surface here. We saw rose gardens, we saw this cool like pavilion, ponds, this tiny house on a stump, and it was just very peaceful and very relaxing. There we go. Hey, filming this clip in here because, I don't know, just wanted to do a little update. I'm in the Bay. Got here yesterday. Super chaotic, like frenetic, hectic. Basically, flew in, my flight was delayed, and then we had to like wait longer because someone was having a medical emergency. They were okay, everything was good, but just got here kind of later than expected. Had to cancel my hair appointment, but I was able to reschedule it for today. Got picked up by my family, which I wasn't expecting, and then we were kind of running around San Francisco, and then we got to where we're staying, which is East Bay. Kind of like Oakland-ish. Super bougie house, by the way. So, second bougie house that I've stayed in like a week. Right now, I'm not writing because I have to finish a really major project that is part of my grad school stuff. Once again, I'm being nerfed by grad school. Why won't grad school let me have fun? Also, why did I do this to myself by kind of procrastinating? So I have about 3 hours until my siblings' graduation ceremony, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on my project that is due in 2 days. Yeah. So, unfortunately, no writing today, nothing fun today. Well, some fun stuff. I'm getting my hair chopped, and I am going to see my sibling graduate, and we're gonna get dinner, and it's going to be nice. Kind of wanted to show you guys the view. This is just casually, you know, the view from the window. They're like, are straight up just redwood trees everywhere. There's so many hills. Honestly, I cannot handle living in a house like this in my real life, but it's nice to visit. And that's the update. I'll talk to you guys again later. Bye. And then we were off. So, like the day before, this day ended up being just incredibly hectic. I was able to start out the morning a little slower though. My dad and I checked out this cafe near where we were staying. We picked up some like light groceries because there was literally like nothing in the house. And then it was time to head over to my brother's graduation ceremony. So this was at the Greek Theater at Berkeley. Little did I know that the Greek Theater is an outdoor space. It was full sun, an unusually hot, sunny day in the Bay Area, and we were sitting out basically unprotected because we did not get the memo.
I ended up putting my sweater over my head, and I still have the tan lines on like my watch and my cowboy boots from like how much I got burnt. But the ceremony was really wonderful. It was so cool to see so many young people really accomplishing something so huge. And of course, when my brother came out, my mom and I let out this like huge scream. Yes, we are hooligans. Anyway, after the ceremony, we walked around a bit, took some photos, went our separate ways, and I ended up at the hair salon where I was getting all of my hair chopped off. I've been growing out my hair kind of unintentionally, like I've been trimming it here and there at home, but I haven't been to a salon in like close to a decade, so I felt nervous. Like, I have had a bob before and I looked terrible, but for some reason, I felt like I could pull it off. I was happy to say that I was super pleased with the results. Anyway, after my fresh haircut, I went to meet up with everyone for dinner. We ended up getting pizza and various other Italian dishes at A16 Rockridge, which is like, you know, a little bit more of a mid-scale restaurant. Everything was super delicious. We split dessert and just celebrated my brother and had a really good time. And that was the conclusion of day 2.
Okay, today's fit. Obviously hair, work, just keeping it simple.
It's currently, I don't even know, I think it's Thursday. It's Thursday. May 22nd. I almost said March. Had my brother's graduation yesterday. My family and I have parted ways. I'm just getting ready to leave this gorgeous house that we've been staying in the past couple nights. It literally feels like one of those like influencer hype houses. Obviously, got my hair chopped and I love it so much. I am figuring out how I like to style it. I think I like it tucked like this and then flipped at the ends, kind of giving like 90s cartoon mom, but it's also cute down. But yeah, I like it tucked behind the ear. Just that more sleek, casual look, and I'm obsessed with my bangs. My bangs haven't looked this good in years. It was a serve. I am about to get picked up by my friend who lives in the Bay Area, and we're going to basically spend the day together. I might link up with my brother as well, and we'll just kind of like hang out. But I have a couple hours until I get picked up, so I am going to work on my gosh darn homework. Well, first I'm gonna clean, then I'm gonna work on my gosh darn homework, which is, you know, my grad school is ruining my life. It's ruining my life. But I'm hoping that today I'll be finished with that stuff so I can spend the rest of the week having fun and also finding some little pockets of time to write, because as y'all know, if you've been following along, I guess, I just got back from a writing retreat. I had just finished up a writing retreat with all of the wonderful authortube people. There was one moment where we were reading our work out loud to each other, literally just like reading entire chapters or sections of our work, and I was reading mine and I was like, oh, I like moths. I was reading A Piece of Moth Blood. I like this book and I think it's a good book, and it kind of gave me the juice I needed to work on it again and to really tackle edits. Coincidentally, last Friday I also got my editorial notes back from my editors, both US and UK, so I'm going to have to like look over that at some point because we do have a call not too far from now. I think like right when I get back we have a call. Honestly, this is such a straightforward edit. I feel like it's mostly logistical things and like, does this make sense in this scene? This character forgot that they did something or knew something. Very minor details, but there are a couple of things that probably warrant a conversation because it sounds like I'm going to be adding a scene or two, which I wasn't expecting at this stage, and I don't have a ton of ideas for, but I like the direction. Like, there was a note that my editor pointed out where we have a bit more room to like flesh out a couple of characters and their relationships specifically, and I want to do it, but I just haven't figured out how. So that's kind of going to be what I'm brainstorming in the background. ADHD, mind is always going, doing like 20 things at once. Yeah, just something to keep in mind moving forward. But that's what's happening with writing. Otherwise, I have packing and cleaning and homework to do. So, bye. Can we do a reveal? Yeah. A reveal? Yeah, well, let's all do it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I covered the potato puffs. Oh my gosh. My friends and I met up for brunch at Gregoire's, which has these amazing truffly potato, like mashed potato fried balls that were so good. Anyway, had a really quick brunch, and then my friend Danny and I went to Berkeley Bowl. Everyone in Berkeley does their groceries at Berkeley Bowl. They just have a lot of like wholesale stuff and really interesting produce, so we messed around for a little bit just looking at like weird vegetables like this tiny dreidel shaped squash. And then we went for a drive, and we were driving along on this really cool hill heading back to my friend's place where I'd be staying for the next couple days. Of course, I want to introduce you guys to Lugnuts. He is my friend's senior cat. He's just like the cutest. I just love a grumpy old man cat. He's not really grumpy even, he's super affectionate. I was spending a lot of time with him, giving him lots of love and attention. And then unfortunately I had to log in for the afternoon because, you know, that project wasn't going to write itself. I still had a fair amount left, and I just was like, all right, this is the day I'm going to finish it. This is the day I'm going to turn it in so I can just fully enjoy my time with my friends, maybe even write a little bit while I'm here. This is the video of me submitting my freaking homework. It's in. I'm free. Cool. And then as a little reward, Danny and I went to a nearby natural area. We're trying to go to the Berkeley Botanic Gardens, but they were closed. So we just kind of walked around the general area for a bit. And then after that, we had a quick pit stop at Gregory's. I know Gregoire's and then Gregory's, but it's a separate place. It is in Oakland, and they sell amazing handcrafted desserts, mostly cakes. And Danny and I just sat by the water and we tried all of them and gave our reviews. That's the chai cheesecake. This is the key lime, and that's obviously the red velvet.
Sure, right there, red velvet.
You have to rate it out of 10. You have to give it booms. I'm not gonna include this.
Whoa,
Whoa.
this is really good.
Wait, I want to try it.
Really unexpectedly rich.
I like how dense it is, actually.
Yeah, me too.
I love key lime pie. I started making it
Yeah?
recently, and it's so easy and so good.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically like 4 ingredients. Yeah. Okay.
I definitely zoomed right in, straight up my nose as I was taking it back.
God. How'd they make it that good?
The meringue is really fluffy.
Yeah. That one, yeah, it's like chai and macadamia.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
This is the best one.
Oh, I mean, oh, here.
My opinion.
All right. I'll see. That might be the best cheesecake I've ever had in my life. That's really good. And then finally, to cap everything off, we met up at Chez Panisse, which is like this fancy restaurant in Berkeley that my brother had always wanted to try, and because it was his graduation, you know, I wanted to treat him out. I filmed every dish that came out. It's like a fixed course, so they have a set menu every night and then they just bring out everything in courses. It was a lot of food, but it was also like literally the most expensive meal ever in my life. I almost cried when the check came out. It was horrible, but it was, you know, a once in a while, maybe once in a lifetime, honestly, special occasion kind of thing to celebrate my brother. Yeah, the check was so bad that Danny and I didn't even fight for it. That's how you know that the price was ridiculous. But you know, the food was really good and interesting, and I do love food, and I think fine dining is super cool. Yeah, so no regrets, maybe some regrets. And the next day we started out with a really nice filling meal that Danny made, just some congee with various accoutrements, I guess you could say. I really love this Chinese sausage. I was eating a ton of it. And then Danny and I drove to Point Reyes National Seashore, which is kind of like a national forest, but obviously the seashore, and it was so freaking beautiful. Even the drive up, all of these beautiful, tall, gorgeous trees, this green area. We actually pulled over to like pick up some trash at one point, and then we were there. Our first trail was Abbott's Lagoon, so we walked all the way down this gorgeous trail. Everything was in flower. There were some salmon berries, you know, fruiting as well, so we had some of those. Trust, I don't just eat random stuff off the ground. At this point, I would say like moderately experienced forager. I've spent most of the spring and summer foraging, and drove to the Point Reyes Lighthouse Trail, and the stairs were very, very steep here, and it was incredibly windy, and sometimes apparently the wind gets so bad that they have to shut everything down because it'll literally sweep you off your feet. It was pretty bad, but not bad enough to be shut down. I was kind of nervous just because I have a thing about heights, but the views were absolutely worth it. Like, I haven't seen the ocean in so long. I love her. I miss her. The Pacific Ocean. I was born in Ventura, like this is my home. Literally an ocean baby. And it was just a stunning day, like clear skies, blue seas. We checked out the lighthouse itself as well as this kind of like observation deck area, and there are these super cool sandstone formations as well, with all these holes carved out. I mean, just like gorgeous views. I'll shut up and just let you see.
We walked all the way up here so far. We have this much left.
Don't forget to get the placard in the shame.
Oh yeah, there's a shame placard. We're sitting. It's shaming us for not being as good as a bird. Feeling good. Alright, that's the last 100 or whatever. We got this.
And then as we were leaving, we actually saw this raven looking at its reflection in this car and attacking it. So that was really fun. Ravens are so smart. They're so funny.
What are you doing? How'd you get out? Oh my gosh.
She's got a big waddle.
It is 6:30. Just finished up a day out in nature, touching grass, and now I'm going to actually sit down and work on my moths edits. So I still kind of have to look over everything and figure out where I'm going to add the potential new scene that my editors kind of want to see more of a character, so I'm trying to add that new scene. So I'm making some tea and I'm going to sit down and actually work for the first time in a couple days. I did finish all my homework, so I turned that in. That was actually the bane of my existence for the past week or so. I cannot believe that I spent so much time on the writing retreat working on that homework, but it's in, I'm done, I'm free. So MOTHSBLOOD time, looking over edits. Not the most exciting stuff, but you know, it gets me one step closer to this being a finished published book. So yeah, let's go.
If you had to pick your favorite food between snacks, rice, noodles, dumplings, and buns, which are all the foods I know how to say, which would you say is your favorite?
Foie gras.
I don't know.
Probably dumplings.
Ciao.
I'm gonna put this right there. Nope. Saturday morning. I've been up for about an hour. It's getting close to 9, and we are actually going to Sebastopol for, it sounds like, brunch of some sort, and then like activities. Yesterday, in terms of writing, I actually got a good chunk of the way. I think I finished reviewing most of chapter 2. Right now, what I'm working with is, you know, I have my manuscript with my 2 editors, one US, one K. They left line notes. I mean to say, wow, it's early. They left inline comments, which I am going through and addressing kind of one by one, trying to be super thorough, really paying attention to the line level as well. So they left a combination of like line edits and also just logistical, not quite line, not quite dev, somewhere in between edits. So not requiring a rewrite of a whole section, but just something to consider. So I guess that would still be line level. Can you tell that I don't know what's going on? So I got through a good chunk of that last night. I also, my friend had been borrowing my copy of Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, so I was just reading that to kind of like get the sauce, get the writing voice back in my head, because honestly this semester, I mean, I still read a couple books, but just not nearly the amount that I would like to. Of course, like grad school, you end up doing a lot of other stuff. And so the free time to read, she isn't there. This morning and last night, I've been thinking about the retreat. I've been thinking about the writing retreat so much. A couple of folks have released videos. I was watching Taylor's video this morning and like getting emotional. And I'm with 2 friends who obviously were not on the retreat. And they turned to me and were like, oh, it's so special that you get to like see another person's perspective. And yeah, and I'm just so excited to keep watching these as they come out. I haven't had a ton of time to like sit down and just like watch them all the way through, which I think I will do when I get home, because I feel unwell in like a good way. Yeah, I mean, that's been such a fun little addition. And it's wild to think it's Saturday now, so it's wild to think that last Saturday I was in a house with all of those folks, and it was like my first full day in Kenosha, and I hadn't really like, I don't know, it's just so weird to think it feels like so long ago. Anyway, getting a little bit sappy about that, but my friends and I are gonna go to Sebastopol, Danny and MJ, and we're gonna run around and have some fun. But they're not awake yet, so I have to get ready. Bye. Alright, after Danny and Minjay finally woke up and we all got ready and headed out, we drove for about, I want to say like an hour to Sebastopol from where we were in the East Bay. And we started out at Patisserie Angelica, which was a high tea, like a breakfast tea place. It was so freaking cute. Like, it literally felt like we were sitting inside a grandma's dining room. They served us tea, they gave us like a little tower of pastries and treats, and it was just a wonderful start to the day. After high tea, we just walked around Sebastopol, checked out a couple of different bookstores, cafes. I got a little matcha because I needed a little bit of a pick-me-up. I think with all the traveling, even though I was getting ample sleep, I was also just like, so beat every single day because I just hadn't gotten that opportunity to really rest for a day, which if you travel a lot, you know your body needs rest once in a while. I always try to schedule like a rest day when I can if I'm doing long-term travel. We also found this little free library on the street. Nothing good there, but at a nearby bookstore, I did my thing where I found where my book would sit on the shelf. So in the adult fantasy section of this particular bookstore, I found that MOTHSBLOOD would sit between Robert Jordan and Kelcade, which is a very fun spot to be. And I ended up picking up Ocean Vuong's new book. I found a signed copy. I love Ocean Vuong's stuff. And then we went to this like super fun, kind of a beer place, I guess. I don't really drink, but they had a bunch of pinball machines and arcade games, so we got a card because each machine you use like a pre-filled card, basically the digital version of inserting tokens, and we played for a bit there. Then we went to this very cool horticulturist garden and wandered around a bit there as well.
It is very peaceful. Oh, there's a lady here. Whoa. Oh,
The mother and
gorgeous.
child statue.
Yeah.
That's what it said on the placard.
Wow, I didn't even know. Oh, and there's offerings.
Then we went to Psychic Pie, which Minjay and Danny were hyping up, and I was like, okay, I love pizza, but how good can it actually be? It was freaking fantastic. I'm not usually a fan of like a thicker pizza, but just the freshness of the ingredients, intensity of the flavors, like all the cheese was super flavorful, the sauces, the toppings, and the ranch, the spicy ranch, so freaking good. I had an absolute blast. And that was it. That was the end of our little day of adventuring in Sebastopol. It was just nice to like explore and hang out with my friends. We headed back. Obviously had to say hello to Lugnuts. And Danny got delivered this like really cute cat tree with a cactus and built that in front of us. And Lugnuts, as you can see, really appreciated it. And that was the day. Hi. Oh, it's so close. Wait. Perfect. We just came back from Sebastopol. We spent like the whole day there, had a ton of fun. I actually had Danny take like new author photos, which I'll show you guys in a second, because now I have the short hair and I've been meaning to update my author photo for a while because I hate it, and I like told my publisher that I hate it and they were like, okay, just let us know when you get new ones. So I'm trying to figure out which of these 3 photo candidates to use, but I also am really feeling the itch to edit. Like I really want to sit with my book. I got Ocean Vuong's new book at the bookstore we stopped at, The Emperor of Gladness. Oh, it's already dented, crap, but it is signed, which is really special to me because Ocean Vuong is honestly one of my favorite authors. I know that's a little bit of a cliche. Who doesn't love Ocean Vuong? But so excited to read this, and it's nice and thick too. He's really an author where you can like revel in his words, and just the way that he describes things just itches something in my brain. Even reading just like a page or 2 of this got me excited to write again, or like to edit and look at my line writing on that level. So I'm gonna do that just because I need a break. But that's not really a break, that's just working. But it's a break to me because I want to do it. Tomorrow I actually do work, but I only have 2 students, so it's going to be like a pretty easy day, and I think I'll try to squeeze in some writing sessions in between that. Maybe like FaceTime one of the authortube friends. So I'm gonna write, enjoy the rest of the evening. It's about 7:30, and I'll update you guys tomorrow. Bye. Morning. It's Sunday, and I have to work, but that's okay because I only have 2 hours of work. And I was able to schedule it tight, so everything is good this morning.
Did I ruin your tape?
No. I just think it's funny that I'm being witnessed. I wanted to show some of the author photos that my friend Danny took for me yesterday. I'm gonna show them off and also show you guys which one I picked and which one will be. I have to get confirmation, but still wanted to show y'all. So
Here was option number 1. Cute, the hair is giving. Love the green background. I feel like that's a theme in all of my professional photos. Number 2 with the glasses. Again, very green, a little bit backlit. And then this was the winner. This one, it looks like a professional photograph to me, and I love like the details, like the slight wind brushed hair. And this feels weird saying all this stuff about myself, but like, I just love how this one turned out and the lighting. And this is going to be the one that I, at least hopefully, will be able to put forward and use for professional author stuff moving forward. So I have like 40 minutes until I have to work, so I'm probably just going to look over moths a little bit, get a little more progress on chapter 1 again, because I looped back. This morning's gonna be kind of dull just because of the work of it all, but I'll update you guys in a little bit. Bye.
And just like that, it was my very last day in the Bay, so I decided to spend it with Minjae and my brother. We started out by heading over to San Francisco, and we checked out the ferry building, which I've been to many times, but I feel like it's such a staple of the Bay Area. They have so many goodies inside this like historic building right on the water, on the wharf. And I got some really good empanadas and also picked up some souvenirs. Afterwards, my brother had the great idea of going to the Exploratorium, which is an interactive science museum. And yes, it was very much a museum intended for children, but there's a lot to gain from something like this, like going and just experiencing the joy as a childless adult. Also, a lot of the hands-on demos actually gave me some inspiration for things I could do in my career, so that was really fun. I got really excited about this like plant where if 2 people put their hands on it and also hold onto the bench, it creates basically a circuit and starts to play music. So I made my brother come and try it, and I was like waiting to see his reaction, and it turns out he's already done it before, so whatever. It's fine. I feel fine about it. There were tons of cool exhibits, everything from like physics and life sciences, botany, bugs, all sorts of cool stuff. And we spent a couple hours there and then got tired, headed out, and my brother really wanted to try this fancy French pastry place called Tartine. So we went there, picked up some really good croissants, and walked about the park a little bit. And then it was time to meet up for dinner. For dinner, we went to this restaurant in Oakland called Seoul Gontang, and it was a very, very, I don't even want to say authentic necessarily, but it was very true to my experiences growing up and eating at a bunch of like family-owned Korean restaurants in Los Angeles, specifically Koreatown. I got the naengmyeon, which is one of my absolute favorite dishes. Naengmyeon is a dish commonly associated with North Korea, and that's actually where my dad's family comes from, what would be considered North Korea today. Like, I'm not even going to lie, this was the best meal of my entire trip, and yes, that includes the super fancy, expensive, former Michelin star whatever meal at Chez Panisse. No shade, that was also very fun, but I mean, this was a perfect dinner. After a delicious, filling, honestly kind of gluttonous dinner, we went to a billiards bar close by. Again, they serve like alcohol and stuff, but the main attraction is that there's just a bunch of pool tables. I'm terrible at pool, but I had a blast. And that was it for the day. Next day, Danny and Minjae and I went over to this really cool brunch place, had a really nice, quick brunch, and then I was like, guys, I gotta work. So we came back. I'm so short. This is Lugnuts. You've probably seen clips of him. Oh, he doesn't want to be here. Okay, I'll let him go. Hi, so it's Monday, it's about 5. There is a towel in my way. It's around 5, so I'm gonna be heading out in about 2 hours to get dinner and then catch my flight home, which I am low-key so excited to be home. I'm just very beat, very tired, and I have been traveling literally non-stop ever since I left for Kenosha. So I had like not even 12 hours of rest, I think, after that trip, before I had to go fly out again to here. So excited to get back into my new routine for kind of the summer, because things are really chill for the summer because I'm not working full-time. And I also am quitting my part-time job. So a lot of life updates, but I wanted to kind of like give an update on where I am with revisions. I've just been kind of hacking away at them here and there, so this isn't really like the best example of a writing blog ever, but I do want to still give it some value for writers, especially because I think it is a very unique experience to be doing your second round of edits for publication. So I'm also kind of on this thing where I've been on this journey with authortube and my content where honestly for a second there I was about to quit making content, and then the retreat kind of like bolstered me again. I do want to still keep making content, but I also want to think critically about what kind of content I'm creating and, you know, the value it has for viewers outside of just like entertainment. So of course my perspective as someone who is pre-debut in TradPub is relatively unique. I mean, I'm definitely not the only person in this space making videos about that, but as an early career author who is, you know, going to continue balancing full-time work and all this stuff, you know, I think that is the perspective that I want to lean into, and those are the experiences I'm most interested in sharing outside of just like how I approach craft, because at this stage in my career, I love talking about craft, but I think my habits are so calcified. Like, I do want to continue experimenting and doing different sorts of things with writing craft and with my stories and characters. My day-to-day and how I approach stories, that stuff isn't really going to change too much, I don't think, moving forward, at least in terms of the broad strokes of how I approach character and story, and I've talked about those things to death. So really just talking about my pub experience and how it's changing my identity as a writer. It is a very unique thing to be embarking on edits with, you know, a professional editor in TradPub for the first time, and I feel like it's made me so much more self-conscious about my writing. Like everyone, I've been through my ups and downs in terms of my confidence and my self-assurance in my work, but I think now that I'm really being like scrutinized, because the first round of edits was more developmental, so it was broader strokes. We're talking about character arcs, what scenes to add. I added, I think, at least 10,000 words to the manuscript just by adding new scenes. So that was much less, you know, looking at it under a magnifying glass, really looking at the prose and the lines. This is a new experience. This is more specific, it's more particular. We're looking more at the line level and questioning these like micro decisions that happen in each scene, rather than thinking about the overall collective of character arcs and the thematic cohesion and world building. You know, all the like big stuff. That's kind of been sorted, and now it's like the small things. I think this level of attention to detail that I am being asked of, and again, this is all good stuff. This is good for the book, but this is something that, even though I consider myself pretty clean and pretty attentive to the line level, it's such a different experience to like have it be shown to me, like shown my own errors and my crutch words and that repetition that I fall into sometimes, as we all do. And it's really making me like think about my prose, and it's making me not feel good about my prose, which is ridiculous because, I don't know, I think this is all normal. These are normal feelings to have. But I do also find a lot of enjoyment in this like fine-tooth comb kind of work. It's quite slow for me is the only issue I think I'm running into. I have maybe like 2.5 weeks to get this entire edit done, and I do still need to consider where I'm going to add that scene that I want to add, like a really small one, and where I'm going to kind of make changes for that one larger edit, which is to expand a minor character, at least like expand our understanding of that minor character and the role that that character plays in the main character's life. And it's also weird to think that like, because the edits are getting more and more specific, it won't be long until I can't do anything anymore. Which is a very weird feeling, because at a certain point this book will just be done and I have to take my hands off of it, and it has to go out of the kitchen and into the diner's hands. Honestly, I've been having a lot of feelings about that I have been fully repressing. There is a part of me that wonders if, because of my platform and because I've been making videos about the creative process for so long, but I've shared relatively little. Like, in terms of my writing, I have 3-4 short stories out. I worry that maybe reader expectations are going to lean a certain way and I will fail to meet those expectations and have, I don't know, angry readers, or, you know, people who come on to my videos, which I really just make as a record now and for fun and because I like making these videos and I like the community, and saying like I don't have, you know, basically not the resume, but the the right to. Lynn, you're a writer. I don't have any ground to stand on when it comes to talking about writing and craft and publishing. So, you know, these are things that I've been thinking about as I hurtle toward the endpoint in publishing. But this video is about to wrap up soon. I'll film a proper outro later. But for now, I have about 2 hours to crush, and I'm going to just keep tinkering away at mods and finishing packing up so that I can go home. Oh, so excited to go home. Okay, that's the update. I'll catch up with you guys later. Bye. Danny, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? Tell the world.
Vintage Togo's display sandwich, 4 foot long with acrylic case, $75 in Sacramento. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Stop!
On Facebook Marketplace.
No! Don't buy a display sandwich, please.
Why not?
Why do you want it? This is going in the vlog.
This will fit perfectly.
Okay, I'm showing my audience Danny's cool shirt. He is a depraved homicidal killer, and he makes house calls. Dr. Butcher MD, medical DBA. Very cool Danny shirt, very cool.
Where'd you get this shirt? Like eBay or something.
Oh, beautiful. In the home country. A question that has been asked pretty frequently of me since I moved from California is whether or not I miss it. And yeah, I mean, of course I miss my friends and the food and everything I was accustomed to, but Wisconsin is definitely my home now, and it's a different kind of home, but it's still home. And it still comforts me and makes me feel secure knowing that I can always visit California whenever I have the time and the means, and everyone and everything I love will, with some changes, still be exactly where I left them. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I know it was a little bit different and there wasn't a ton of writing in it, but I wanted to make this video as kind of a commemoration of this trip. And if you chose to watch to the end, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. If not, this is really more of a keepsake for me and my friends and family than anything. Regardless, either way, I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you next time. Why is this raccoon here? Oh my god.
On the small side for
Yeah.